Hello, welcome to the 90 Day Wins podcast. I am so excited today because I get to talk with one of the world's greatest financial experts. I've been following you, Ash Cash, for a while, and I'm so excited to have you on this show. So, welcome to the 90 Day Wins podcast.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and pleasure. Appreciate you.
So, before we get started, I want you to share a little bit about yourself for those people who have been living under a rock somewhere and don't know who you are, and then we'll get started.
Yes, I am Ash Cash, the financial motivator. I am an author and financial educator. So I've started my career as a banker. At 19 years old. So I was a banker for about 15 years. Did everything in banking from teller to personal banker, private banker. I was a branch manager, CEO of a credit union, one of the youngest CEOs of a federally chartered bank. Left my banking career to teach financial education. And so I've written, my first book came out in 2009. I've written over 40 books, but only have published 17 so far. And I, help other people, create a brand, create a 6, 7 figure business from books. And I also have a very popular podcast called Inside the Vault with Ash Cash,
Yeah.
which is a top 200 podcast that's heard all around the world.
I love it. And your podcast is really so helpful for someone who's thinking about their finances and who's interested in going deeper. Because there are tons of podcasts out there, but yours really helps in getting to the crux of what you need in order for you to achieve your financial wealth. So I really love listening to it. So
Thank you.
when you think about this year and all the things that have happened this year that have just got our attention, right? And so made us feeling all these different ways about our finances, what would you say is the number one thing you can encourage someone to do at this point? We're at the end of the year, we're looking to move forward. Where would you encourage everyone to focus their energy and their mind when they think about their finances?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that I would really focus on really just honing in on your skills and trying to um, figure out how to make the most money, right? Meaning from an
Okay.
income perspective. I don't think now is the time to spend money.
Yes.
I think now is the time to um, create some liquidity. So like have money available. And then also from that liquidity, I would also focus on investing that money and helping that money to grow. The reason why I say that is because um, a couple of things happen during chaos. Like this was a chaotic year. It's chaos,
Yes,
right? And
yes,
so a couple of
yes.
things happen during chaos is that most people are going to be afraid, and so most people are going to stop spending, but also most people are going to pull back off of things that can help their money grow. So, for instance,
Okay.
during chaos, a lot of people don't like to invest in the stock market, cryptocurrency, annuities, all of the things that actually grow. So what's going to happen is that a lot of that stuff is going to decrease in value, which means that you could buy it low and allow your money to grow. So I really think, and the other thing is too, because we don't know what the economy is going to be doing.
Yeah.
Especially during a transition, new president, things of that nature. You want to have liquidity so that if things continue to dip down, you have access to be able to buy things on sale.
Yes. And, that's right on point because when you think and you just hear, if you're not really into paying attention to financial things that's going on, but exactly what you said are what big investors like Warren Buffett are doing. And that's what they're talking about. So I appreciate the fact that I feel that you make finances more, easy to understand and really digest for people who aren't really financial savvy, with your years of experience. So that's why I like listening to you and to hear what you think about what's going on in our financial climate right now. So talk to me. You talk a lot about abundance. Your shirt even says it. And to think that abundance is our birthright. Explain to me why that's so important to believe and know.
Yeah, I think most people worry unnecessarily, right?
Mm,
And most people think they're driving the car when they're really just a passenger.
mm,
And the reason why they're crashing. So let me give you this visualization, right? You're
uh-huh.
in a car, you're not really the driver, you're in the passenger seat, and you think you know better than the driver. And so every time, you keep fighting with the driver to get into a different lane and this and that. And that's where the chaos, starts.
Okay.
And so I just believe that we are everyone right now. If you hear the sound of my voice, we have everything that we need, right? We have everything we need to live our best life. But because we think we're in the driver's seat, because we're trying to control life, we have this skewed perspective that we don't have enough, and I wish things were different, things of that nature. And then that's what's causing the strife. That's what's causing the struggle. And so if we all adopt the mindset that says abundance is our birthright, right? Regardless of
Yeah.
what your religion is, all of the spiritual doctrines say that we're made in the image and likeness of God. And so
Yes.
if we're made in the image and likeness of God, that means God is infinite possibilities. That means we are also infinite possibilities. And I think that if we just stand on that one truth, right? That one truth, that abundance is our birthright and we have everything. Now,
Hmm.
how the decisions we make, how we move, how we enjoy life, how we are able to really embrace and live our best lives, it changes. And so abundance is really it's like air, right?
Mm,
Right now, I mean, unless you're on an oxygen tank, or unless you have some type of something that's blocking you from
yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Right now, you're not thinking about where your next breath is going to come from.
Yeah. You
Right?
just
So
know.
much
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that I'm having this conversation, you're having this conversation. At no point am I thinking, "Oh my God, let me not talk as much because
So I
there's
can,
not going to be
yes.
enough
Yes.
air." No, there's more than enough air. There's enough air not just for me. There's enough air for you. There's enough air for everybody in my household. There's enough air
Yeah.
for everybody outside. There's air for people that I don't even know. So when we start to think of money and abundance and life in that way, that
Yeah.
there's so much that we don't even have to think about where it's going to come from. That's the true meaning of abundance being your birthright. The moment you came out of the womb, there was a promise made to you that everything, not just some things, not just
Mm,
the big things, not the small things, but every single thing is
yes.
working for your greater good.
I love that. I love that. I feel like you just gave me a supercharged energy. I'm hoping that the listeners will get that energy too, because it's powerful. These last couple weeks have been extremely chaotic, like you said. But I saw something you put on social media about, just getting away from the noise and not allowing the noise to just control our energy and how we move. And so let's talk about this money mindset and what you say about not working hard for the money, but allow for the money to work for us. So, what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, our community has a distortion with money, right? And we believe that, and again, myself as well. I was raised low income, single parent
Hmm.
home, and I was taught by my household and my community that I got to work hard, right? Go to school,
Yes,
get a good
yes,
job, work hard, and like that was the way to wealth. But the truth is, when you really start to understand money, you're supposed to make money, you're supposed to manage money, but then you're supposed to multiply money, right?
yeah,
And what people don't realize is that yes, you can make money with your physical labor, you can manage money with your physical labor, but you cannot multiply money with your physical labor, right? In order
mm,
to multiply money, you have to understand that the only way that happens is through investing. You can't save your way to multiplying money. You have
yeah,
to invest. And so, in fact, if I bring it back for a second,
hmm,
there's four types of people in the world. You have consumers, you have producers, you have investors, and you have philanthropists. And that is the cycle and the circle of money. most of us are just consumers. So we make money, we buy stuff. We make
Yeah.
money, we buy stuff. And that's why we're stuck in the what they call the rat race, on the treadmill, on the hamster wheel, because we have to work, make money, and then we buy stuff. But imagine if we, all of us, regardless of who you are, all of us say, you know what, I'm going to be a consumer because I have to
Yeah.
consume things, but I'm also going to be a producer, right? Like I have something in me that I could produce a product or a service, whether I'm an entrepreneur or work 9 to 5, I'm gonna produce something,
Yeah.
and then from producing, I'm gonna be making money from that. But then I'm going to also invest, right? I'm going to invest in people. I'm going
Yeah.
to invest in products. I'm going to invest in businesses. I'm going to invest in real estate. In the stock market, whatever you feel comfortable investing in, and that investment is what's going to allow you to multiply your money, right? And then now, because you're multiplying your money, you're not in a space where you're exchanging time for money. And
Yeah.
and as that money grows, you can also become a philanthropist. You can now start giving back, right, to people, to organizations, to things that inspire you, which also, if you believe in the law of reciprocity, which
Yes.
also allows you to multiply money, because what you give back tenfold. And
Yeah.
so having this thought process, right, saying, you know what, I'm no longer going to work for money, I'm going to make my money work for me, is the way that you multiply money and you start to live in true abundance. And
Hmm.
so that thought process, that mindset, it starts with you realizing the principle and the concept. But again, like for me, I didn't come from money. I didn't have, so I had to work for money in the beginning. But
Yeah.
as you're working for money, you don't just stay in a cycle. Work for money, buy things, create a budget that allows you to work for money and take
Hmm.
some of that money and start to, if you're going to save it so it could grow enough for you to invest in what you want to invest. Or you do what I like to call dollar cost averaging, where you take a percentage of the money that you're making and you
Hmm.
start to invest in again, real estate, stocks, whatever you want to invest in, and then
Yeah.
allow that to continue to grow for you.
I love that. So, what would you say to this young person who's starting out, who's in college, and they're feeling very unsure with the climate of what's going on? They're hearing all these things going on. How could you encourage that person who feels as if, man, I'm just trying to start out and things seem really difficult? What steps would you encourage them to take right now to help build that mindset about money and understand the importance of not only being a consumer?
Yeah, I would tell them that this is the best time right now, to start to manage their money the right way,
Hmm.
and get into multiplication of their money, because most millionaires and billionaires happen during chaos. When you
Yeah.
think, you go as far back as the Great Recession, there were billion-dollar businesses that started during the Great Recession. If you go as soon as the crash of 2008, a lot of Uber, was created during that time. There's a lot of billion-dollar businesses that were created during that 2008 to
Yes.
2011 era. When you think about the as recent as the pandemic, right? I know a lot of
Yes.
entrepreneurs who became multimillionaires during the pandemic, and so this is a beautiful time. I want you to shift your paradigm and accept that and embrace that, and run towards the chaos, right? Because again, if those who are looking at it as the end of the world, or they're like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on, there's going to be two types of people. They're going to be the people who are paralyzed by this, and they're going to
Hmm.
sit on the sidelines and wait till the smoke clears. Or they're going to be us who put on the smoke mask, and we're going to run towards the smoke and
Yeah.
start to see what opportunities are there, so that
Yes.
we create these opportunities inside of the smoke. So once the smoke
Mm.
clears, our building is standing strong. So I would say this is
Ooh.
this is the best time to come up with your best ideas, come up with your best opportunities, invest in things that you believe in.
Hmm.
But just understand that this is the time where millionaires and billionaires are made. And if you're just courageous enough to go in the opposite direction of where everybody else is going, you'll have a great time.
I love it. I love it. So, what do you think about everyone working for themselves? Do you believe people should invest in wanting to start their own business? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think everything. I think one size doesn't fit all.
Hmm.
I think that I think our brains work in different ways for a reason. I think we all have different DNAs for a reason. And some people have to be entrepreneurs. Like I have to be an entrepreneur, right? The way my brain works, I've been an entrepreneur since 8. Believe it or not. At 8 years old, I was packing bags at the local supermarket. I was selling mixtapes and T-shirts.
I
Like
love
the
it.
like I am the epitome. Like I always say, I'm permanently unemployable, right? Because I don't have the capacity to just do one thing and just
Hmm.
focus on one thing. I have to move around, right? But there are other people, even people on my team, if you will, that they need stability.
Hmm.
Their brain is so focused that they can't jump around and do multiple things. They have to be sort of like laser focused on one thing. And those people are probably better suited to either work a job or work for an entrepreneur and support an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so I think that we over glamorize entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship is not easy, right?
No, not at
When,
all.
when I say that I have to be an entrepreneur, I wish, and I'm successful, right? Meaning like I make money, right? So I'm
Hmm. Hmm.
successful, but I wish I had a 9 to 5. I wish somebody could pay me, a million. I mean, I would need $1 million, right? But I
Yeah.
wish somebody could pay me $1 million as a salary, and they just tell me what to do, right? Like that would be the easiest life for me right now, right?
Hmm.
And when I say that, like I've worked corporate America, right?
Yeah.
I've worked, as a high level executive, making high six figures. And so I understand that even in that, the reason why I was successful was because I ran my corporate job like an entrepreneur. Like
Yes.
like
Yes.
my bosses gave me the autonomy to say, hey, here's your goal. I don't care how you do it, just reach
Yeah.
this goal. And so I don't think everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur, to be honest with you. Like it
Yeah.
takes, you have to have the gut. Like there's this stomach that you have to be able to have where there's these ups, there's these downs. Even if you're up, right? Even if you're making millions of dollars, there's
Yeah.
still risk that you have to take. And so I don't think that entrepreneurship is cut out for everybody. I think
Hmm.
everybody should really assess who they are. And then once they make that assessment of who they are, they then have to figure out what's best for them. But what I do believe, though, everybody needs to be an investor, right? I don't care if you have a 9 to 5. I don't care if you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. I don't care if you're still in school, right? Every single person, once you have the ability to generate income, however way you generate it, you must be investing in yourself, financially, because that's the only way. Even like I know entrepreneurs who live paycheck to paycheck because they don't
Mm.
invest, right?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
work hard, they make this money, the money goes back into the business, and then now they're working just like the person who works a job where they're trying to figure things out. But again, profit first. If you work hard as an entrepreneur, you make this money, you have to invest this money in order for that money to grow for you.
I love it. See, that's why you are the person that we go to. Because you give it to us plain. Because honestly, I don't know that I've ever heard anyone say in that way the importance of, regardless of what you do, you must invest because
Yes.
we're all consuming.
Yes.
We're definitely all consuming. So why not invest?
Yeah, and that's the thing though too, right? Because we are all consuming. Once you consume, here's the psychological part of it. Once you
Hmm.
consume, you want more consumption, right?
Yeah.
Like so once you go and you get that nice jacket, there's another jacket you want. Once you get that first watch, there's another watch you want, right? And so what happens is if you don't invest,
Hmm.
now you're almost putting yourself in involuntary strife, if you will, right? Because as a consumer, your
Yeah.
appetite for consumption is going to increase, and if you don't have a mechanism that is paying you, beyond your physical labor, now
Yes.
your ability to again live in abundance, that ability decreases, and then now that's where the stress comes in from. That's where the
Hmm.
struggle comes in from. That's when we start relying heavily on debt so we could
Yes.
buy the things that we desire, and that debt keeps us in a cycle where now we have to work. And so
Mm.
it's a nasty cycle that we create when we don't, put money in its place.
Yeah, definitely. So, talk to me now about building wealth using books. And I love the fact that not only do you promote this and share this, but you practice this at home because your son has a book. So,
Yes.
talk to me about building wealth using books.
Yeah, so the light bulb moment, like kind of like was the ding for me when I wrote my first book, Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom in 2009, which is a
Hmm.
remix of Think and Grow Rich, right? So if you think about Mind Right, Money Right, it's a remix of
Yes,
Think and Grow Rich. And for me, when I read Think and Grow Rich, it absolutely changed my life.
me too.
And then, yeah, and I thought, I said to myself, there needs to be like a hip hop. I'm a hip hop guy. I grew up in the '80s,
Yeah,
and so I was like, there needs to be a hip hop version of it. And so I wrote "Mind Right, Money Right," and I started giving stories about Jay-Z and 50 Cent and Oprah and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, all these successful people in our space. But what I realized was Napoleon Hill has been dead since the '70s,
yeah,
right? And which means that he's been dead for over 50 years. He wrote Think and Grow Rich 84 years ago.
yeah.
But still, right now, if you go to Amazon, it's a bestseller
It
right now
is.
today.
It
And
is.
so that was the light bulb moment for me that made me realize, well, books help you live forever, right? So that's number
Hmm.
one. Number two, when I started to learn about business, I learned that there are ways, right, or like a lot of people hear people talk about funnels all the time. Like, hey, when
Yeah,
you are, working with clients, or if you have a business, you got to take them through a funnel. And so a funnel, it's V-shaped, like
yeah,
a food funnel or whatever. And the top is the widest for a reason, right? Because the top of the funnel is when you get the most people in, and then eventually some people weed out, and then at the bottom is where you get the core people, you get the people
yeah.
that you desire. And so when I thought about that, I said, what is the best way to get a lot of people into your funnel? Well, it's to become an author, right?
Hmm.
Because guess what? People listen to who? They listen to the authority, right? So
Yes.
if you're the authority in your space, then people will listen to you. Well, what's the root word of authority? It is author,
Author.
right?
Yes.
And so once you become an author, you now become the authority, and then you are able to bring in a lot of people into your top of your funnel, and then it weeds down. And so I call it the 4 E's to
Hmm.
wealth circulation, right? If you really want to circulate wealth, you have to know the 4 E's. E number one is entry level, right? You need an entry level product or service. Number
Hmm.
two, you need an examination level product or service. Number three, you need an elastic level product or service. And number four, you need an exclusive level product or service. Books are the entry level. That's where everybody's going to come in. If you tell somebody your author, you're going to talk to them about your book. Those are the people that are going to come in. They want to see what you got to offer. At the
Okay.
second level, you have the examination level, and the examination level is where people they like what you got to say, and they want to learn more. And so they're going to buy a workbook, they're going to buy a course, they're going to buy some type of program, they're going to buy something that's going to enlighten them more about what they read in a book. Level number three is the elastic level. Elastic level is now they know, like, and trust you, and they want more of you. They want to keep coming back. They want access to you or your resources on a consistent basis. And so now they're willing to pay a monthly fee over and over to get access to you. That's why it's called elastic. They keep coming
Okay.
back. Think about Netflix, right? Netflix makes
Yes.
us no promise, but that we have access to any movies when they come out. So we pay this monthly fee every
Yeah.
month. in order to gain access to movies, right? iTunes
Yes.
that doesn't promise us anything but to give us access to music. We don't know what music we're going to listen to next month,
Hmm.
but we
Hmm.
know whatever when we make that decision, we'll have access to those that iTunes. So
Yeah.
same thing, right? With an elastic level product or service, whatever you provide, you give them access to information, access to something where they keep coming back. And then lastly, there's going to be the people who want to work with you directly, and
Hmm.
those are the people who you're going to provide an exclusive level product or service. But that all starts with a book, right? It all starts
Yeah.
with a book. That all starts with you um, solidifying yourself as the authority in whatever space that you're working in. And then
Hmm.
once you solidify yourself, as the authority, now you're able to bring people into your world and service them in the different ways that you want to service them.
I love that. It really gives you essentially, I do roadmaps. So it's like the roadmap to you getting where you want to be with you truly having the right people. Because one of the things I find as an entrepreneur is learning that obviously not everyone is my people are my
Mm-hmm.
people. So
Mm-hmm.
finding those right people and then nurturing them to give them what they need.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that, because that's why the funnel gets narrower and narrower after people come from the top line. So at the top line, most people identify with your message, but
Yeah.
eventually, right, some people are going to be like, well, that's not for me. And so
Hmm.
now, some people are going to be your examination people where they want to learn more. Some people are going to be your elastic people where they come and be part of your group. And then some people are going to be part of that exclusive space. But again, it allows you, right, to give your information, and
Yeah.
actually people pay you to learn from you, and they pay you to decide which way you're going to help them, right?
Yeah.
And so like you mentioned earlier, like, and this is why I say everybody should be authors, because everybody in my household has written a book, right? And so
Yes.
I'm an author, and I speak mostly on finance and law of attraction and
Hmm.
mindset stuff. My wife is an author. My wife has written
Awesome.
10 books, right? She's written books on Black history and how to acknowledge who you are, right?
Wow.
And know yourself. My
Yeah.
son, like you mentioned, has written a book, Ash Loves Cash, as he was trying to figure out, his name is Ash as well, as he was
Yes.
trying to figure out how to make money. We sat down with him and said, hey, this could be a book, because other kids want to learn this, right? My daughter
Yeah.
Taylor has written a book as well. We wrote a book together called Taylor's Way: Life Lessons Learned through the eyes of a 3-year-old. And so
Oh.
we all have written books. But when I think about the different businesses that we have, all of the books that we have written
Hmm.
have in some way, shape, form, and other have trickled down into the businesses that we offer. Like, you think about my son. My son is now monetized on YouTube, right? He has his own
I
YouTube
love it.
channel. He has the watch hours, the subscribers, and things of that nature. And it's a tutorial. He teaches other kids, how to make money and things
Yeah.
of that nature. And the book is a lead into that. And so anybody who hears the sound of my voice, if you have any products or services, or you're thinking about a product or service, you have to start with a book. A book is gonna live forever.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about this too, also, is when you think about books, right? Books have made J.K. Rowling is a billionaire because of
Yes.
books.
Yes.
Stephen Covey, he died in 2012. He's the author
Yeah.
of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
He died worth $1.2 billion because his book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People led
Hmm.
people to his company, Stephen Covey Company, and Stephen or Franklin Covey Company, and Franklin Covey to this day is the
Yeah.
major trainer for most corporate America. So I could go on and on. I mean, you can tell I love books. I'm excited about books. Books are the way to wealth.
Yes, I love it. And I I was so impressed by your son because when we were at the Sister in Business event, you were off talking to someone and he was talking to me and he was telling me about his book and he was telling me that I had to buy your book. So I had to make sure I bought it. It's somewhere around here. So I
Nice.
love that it's not that because it's
And
so
he's nine
important to
years
me.
old, though. He's 9. So I just want to
Yes.
be clear that people know this is
Yes.
not like a teenage son. This is a 9-year old.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, yes.
Exactly. And I love that because I feel like the way we make the world a better better places starting at home. And
Yes.
so to meet and talk to you, but then to meet your son and him be so confident and assured in who he is and what he has to offer the world at 9 years old is powerful to me.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
congratulations to you and your wife for putting into the world, not just talking about it, but actually actioning it in your home. I think that is important. And I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciated to see it in action, because I think that's what we need to see, and we need to recognize that when we see it, especially
Thank
in
you.
our community.
Appreciate you.
So before I let you go, we are starting a new year. There's so many things you've got us fired up. I mean, you really gave me so much to think about for my own journey and the things I want to do with my writing and putting myself out there. So, what message would you give to the audience to encourage them as we embark on this new year? And then tell us how we can learn more and get involved with what you have going on for the new year.
Yeah, I would say if you got to write a book, right? I would say that number one, we all have information
Yes.
that people need. I think that the only way to really walk into your blessings, walk into the abundance that is your birthright, is to share your story, right? To share your
Yeah.
story and to help people, get to whatever next level it is for them. I
Yes.
always use this example of the Amazon driver, right?
Mhm.
If somebody right now went to Amazon and they ordered something, and they have Amazon Prime, they're expecting that package to be delivered when they ordered it, or when Amazon says that package is going to be available.
Yes.
For whatever reasons, if the driver is about to deliver that package, and they look at the box and they say, you know what, I don't like the box, I'm not going to deliver it. Or, you know what, why would they order this? I'm not delivering this package. They should have ordered something different. Or whatever reason the driver would make, it is not their right to stop that package from getting to where it needs to go, because even though the driver is in possession of the package, it is not
Yeah.
their package. Um, you who are listening to me right now, you have a story. You have things that happen to you, but they didn't
Yes.
happen for you. And you
Mm.
have a package that's not yours. You think that it happened because it happened to you, that it is your package. It is actually not your package. You actually do not have the right to hold that package. So all of you that have this imposter syndrome, or oh, it's
Yeah.
not ready, or I'm gonna wait to this, and I want,
Yes.
then you are holding up, you are stealing, right? You are stealing from
Mm.
God. You are stealing from the people who are waiting for you. You are stealing from the people who have prayed for you. And so I think the best way to get that message out is to write a book, is to think about your story, what you've been through, and think about the people that it could serve, the people that it's
Yeah.
supposed to serve. Put it in a book. I have a program called Book Rich that I help people not only learn how to get this, the book out of their head,
Yeah.
but it also helps them create a 6 or 7 figure business from that book. And so I actually have a challenge called 100K in 90 days, right? And so
Yes.
it is a challenge which is fitting, right, for your audience, for the
Yes.
90-day wins, right? 100K in 90 days is really about learning, how do you write a book? How do you create your examination level product or service? How do you create your elastic level product or service? And how do you create your exclusive level product or service, and then serve that to people in 90 days in order to build a 6 figure business? And I want to say this before I give the website. You also have to figure out, or retrain your mind, right? Because a lot of people
Mhm.
think, oh man, 100K in 90 days. If you're thinking that's impossible, all I'm going to say is right now, everybody listening to this has a product or service, or somebody will pay them $10,000 to help them with something, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody is willing to pay you $10,000 to help them with something, you only need to talk to 10 people who are willing to pay you $10,000 in order to make a. So you need to talk to 10 people in 90 days in order to
Yeah.
make 100K. And that's just one level. That's just the exclusive level. Imagine how many people you can get into your elastic level. Imagine how many people in
Mm.
your examination level, and how many people you write, you can write books for, or people will read your book. And
Yeah.
so 100K in 90 days, that's actually the website. If somebody wants to join our program,
Yeah.
it's the number 100 letter K in 90days.com.
Okay.
And yeah, you could tap in and join us. We meet every Tuesday at 8 p.m.
Hmm.
And so you'll have access to me coaching you as well.
Awesome. I love it. See, that is exactly what we need to jumpstart this next year. Be intentional, 90 days. Let's go. The time is now. And so I am so glad that you are here, that you took the time to come on the podcast because, you are so busy helping our community get to that next level and achieve the wealth and the understanding that we need, so we don't have to feel as if we're hopeless. There are all these stats out there saying all these things that are going to cure to us, but we can choose to have that mindset of abundance and knowing that it is our birthright and we can do the things we desire to do. So thank you so much again.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And next time we listen to stats, just think about where the stats come from,
Hmm.
and why those stats even exist.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I heard a stat about black men recently, and I said, I'm a black man and no one ever talked to me. So I said, where did they get their information from? Right? They said
Yeah.
by 2053, the black community's net worth will be at zero. Well, I know a lot of multimillionaires, even people who have
Yes.
built six figures net worths in the last 4 years, and so I'm like, where is this information coming from? And so just be careful about the information. This is why, on that, how we started about the chaos and what people are hearing.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why I say be careful about the information that
Hmm.
you're listening to. This is why we say abundance is your birthright, is because
Yeah.
you don't really need to hear the outside noise. You can really just
Yes.
go within, and let God guide you at the end of the day.
Thank you so much. That is a word, and that is so good. That is a perfect way to end this. I look forward to talking with you soon in the future. And thank you again, Ash.
My pleasure.